Naegleria fowleri is a single-celled amoeba that can cause a rare and often fatal brain infection called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, PAM. This amoeba is commonly found in warm freshwater environments such as lakes, hot springs, and poorly maintained swimming pools. It is most prevalent in regions with warm climates. Naegleria fowleri enters the body through the nose when a person comes into contact with contaminated water. It then travels to the brain, causing severe inflammation and destruction of brain tissue. The infection is not transmitted from person to person or through drinking contaminated water. Symptoms of Naegleria fowleri infection usually appear within a few days of exposure and initially resemble those of bacterial meningitis, including fever, headache, nausea, and vomiting. As the infection progresses, symptoms may worsen and can include stiff neck, seizures, hallucinations, coma, and ultimately, death. The infection progresses rapidly, and without prompt treatment, it is almost always fatal. It is important to note that Naegleria fowleri infections are extremely rare, with only a few cases reported each year worldwide. Most cases occur in the United States, primarily in the southern states. Taking precautions such as avoiding freshwater exposure to the nose and ensuring proper maintenance and chlorination of swimming pools can help reduce the risk of infection. Additional details about Naegleria fowleri. Transmission. Naegleria fowleri infects humans when water containing the amoeba enters the nose. This can occur during activities like swimming, diving, or using contaminated tap water for nasal irrigation or inhaled through contaminated aerosols. Once inside the nasal cavity, the amoeba migrates to the brain through the olfactory nerve. Environmental requirements. Naegleria fowleri thrives in warm freshwater environments with temperatures between 25 to 45 degrees Celsius, 77 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. It can survive in soil, warm lakes, hot springs, poorly maintained swimming pools, geothermal water, and even warm water discharge from industrial plants. Infection risk factors. Certain factors may increase the risk of Naegleria fowleri infection. These include swimming or diving in warm freshwater bodies, particularly if the water is stagnant or poorly maintained. Additionally, activities like using untreated well water for nasal irrigation or engaging in water-related sports in warm climates may also pose a risk. Prevention. Although Naegleria fowleri infections are rare, taking precautions can help reduce the risk of infection. Some preventive measures include avoiding swimming or diving in warm freshwater bodies, especially those with stagnant or untreated water. Using nose clips or holding your nose shut when participating in water-related activities in warm freshwater. Keeping swimming pools properly maintained, adequately chlorinated, and regularly cleaned. Using only sterile, distilled, or boiled water for nasal irrigation or rinsing nasal passages. Diagnosis and treatment. The diagnosis of Naegleria fowleri infection can be challenging since early symptoms may resemble other more common conditions. If infection is suspected, a cerebrospinal fluid (CSF) sample is taken through a lumbar puncture to analyze for the presence of the amoeba. Unfortunately, the infection progresses rapidly, and despite aggressive treatment, the fatality rate is high. Antifungal and antimicrobial medications are typically used, but early diagnosis and initiation of treatment are crucial for a better chance of survival. It's important to remember that while Naegleria fowleri infections can be severe and devastating, they are still extremely rare. Adhering to the preventive measures can significantly reduce the risk of infection. Naegleria fowleri infections have been reported in Pakistan. The country has experienced several cases of this infection in the past, particularly during the summer months when temperatures are high. The warm climate and inadequate chlorination of water sources, such as swimming pools and water supply systems, have contributed to the presence of Naegleria fowleri in certain areas of Pakistan. To address this issue, the Pakistani government and health authorities have taken measures to raise awareness about the risks associated with Naegleria fowleri and to promote preventive measures. Public health campaigns have been conducted to educate the population about the importance of using clean and chlorinated water for various activities, such as swimming and nasal irrigation. Additionally, efforts have been made to improve water treatment and disinfection processes in swimming pools and water supply systems. Regular monitoring and testing of water sources for the presence of Naegleria fowleri have also been implemented to ensure the safety of the public. It is crucial for individuals in Pakistan, especially those residing in regions where Naegleria fowleri has been identified, to be aware of the risks and to take appropriate precautions. This includes avoiding activities that involve exposure of the nose to untreated water sources, such as swimming in improperly maintained pools or using contaminated water for nasal irrigation. To prevent Naegleria fowleri infection, you can take the following steps. Avoid freshwater exposure to the nose. Do not engage in activities that involve water entering your nose in warm freshwater bodies, especially those with stagnant or untreated water. This includes activities like diving, jumping, or swimming in warm lakes, hot springs, or poorly maintained pools. Use nose clips or hold your nose shut. If you participate in water-related activities in warm freshwater environments, use nose clips or hold your nose shut to prevent water from entering your nasal passages. Ensure a proper maintenance of swimming pools. If you have a swimming pool, make sure it is properly maintained, adequately chlorinated, and regularly cleaned. Follow the recommended guidelines for pool maintenance and water disinfection. Use clean and treated water for nasal irrigation. If you use a neti pot or other nasal irrigation devices, ensure that you use sterile, distilled, or boiled water. Avoid using untreated well water or water from unknown sources for nasal irrigation. Educate yourself and others. Stay informed about the risks associated with Naegleria fowleri and educate your family, friends, and community about prevention strategies. Share information on the proper use of nose clips, the importance of clean water sources, and the risks of exposure to warm freshwater environments. Follow local guidelines and recommendations. Pay attention to any public health guidelines or recommendations provided by local authorities regarding Naegleria fowleri prevention. These guidelines may vary based on the specific region and prevalence of the infection. Remember, while Naegleria fowleri infections are rare, taking these preventive measures can significantly reduce the risk of infection. It's important to stay informed and implement these precautions, especially in areas where the amoeba has been reported.